Hey there. So, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. Got really busy during the holidays. This thing broke December 8th. Hub failed on the passenger side and insurance was a nightmare to deal with. That's all beside the point. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a pitman arm and tie rods in like 10-degree weather. It's awesome. I got like 4 layers on, you know, boot warmers. Let's go over it. Now I'm not sure exactly what you're gonna need because I've only done this once, but I know you're gonna need this for the pitman arm nut. I'm gonna use this for tie rods. You can get a large adjustable that has the right size, but this has always worked well for me in the past. Handy dandy Milwaukee torque gun, socket set, typical bag of tricks. Arguably most importantly, this pitman arm puller and a small pitman arm puller. We're going to try to use this to get it out of the center link. If this doesn't work, we're going to have to smack it with a pickle fork, and I'd like to avoid doing that. Let's look at what we're actually doing today. So what I would start off with doing is I'd spray it as much as possible with PB Blaster on there and on the center link in the back. It's hard to see that, but that castle nut back there, that's where we're going to have to attack first. We're going to have to get that cotter pin out and go from there. Probably use needle nose pliers or a small flathead. I've always been able to get those with a small flathead. And tie rods are a little simple. We'll probably start with that first. So let's do that. So we're going to start with a 21. We're going to take that out. Done. Now, what you want to do is whack here with a hammer. I sometimes use a framing hammer and can get away with it. These are already bad. So I'm going to thread that a little bit, and I'm just going to hit that with a hammer, and it's probably going to come off. And there you have it. It's already off. Outer is still okay. Inner is no me gusta. So next we're going to take this off here. Right there. That is the inner tie rod. That is what we're going to use the pipe wrench on. All you have to do is crack it loose and you should be able to get it by hand. This is slightly easier for me due to the lift. If you have a lowered truck, you're going to have some more stuff in the way. Now remember what side this is on, because you're going to want to make your tie rod the same length. So we're going to keep this on that side. That way we know what to measure the new tie rod to. And once again, because this tie rod's trashed, we're just going to hammer it out. Now next thing we need to do is we need to get this castle nut out. So take this cotter pin out and then take the nut off. Probably try to go in there for a wrench first and then see if you can get it off that way. If not, and if you really do need to get an impact in there, I suppose you could always turn the wheel this way to give you some more room between the diff, because not a lot of room here to get a gun in there, but it might be possible. I've sprayed it with enough PV Blaster, so I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. So take some pliers, bend the cotter pin back, so then you get straight access to it. You might even be able to do this by hand, like I was just able to. It appears I've gotten lucky. And the cotter pin is out. Time to get that socket. We're going to use a 22 socket and get on it right there. I did turn the wheel. I did turn the wheel. That way I could get the puller on it so we can pull this thing. I'd rather not beat this with a pickle fork if I don't have to. And we're off. So we're going to use this big pitman arm puller and put it on there. Hopefully this will work. May have to turn my wheel a bit more to get it past the diff. It looks about as good as we're gonna get. Now, let's just pray that we're gonna, oh, it's not even on one side. Alrighty then. I do not think this is gonna work, but it's worth a shot. This pitman arm puller looks to be a bit too big for what I'm hoping to achieve here. This pitman arm puller uses an 18. And we're just gonna go forward and pray that it works. And we got it. Perfect. Now as you can see, we popped it out and we're all loose down here. But the problem is that this is such an angle, there's nowhere to get to it. So we're gonna have to take the steering box out. I'm not gonna pull it completely out of the truck, but there's 3 bolts. One right here, one up there, and one in this pocket. It is a 21.
This will be easier if you don't have a coilover nitrogen can in the way. The gearbox is now completely loose, as you can see. So all we need to do is push up and get it out of the center link. So rotate it upwards. I now have it at a point that the pitman arm is balancing on the center link. Now we're going to push it up this way and put our 33 right there. We're on, and we're going to take this puppy off. We have just enough space to get up in there. You can take the whole steering box out, but why bother? And now for the puller. Alright, so now we gotta do something I really wish I didn't have to do. We're gonna have to take the sway bar out, drop it down, and then cut the pitman arm off with a grinder. It's on there, I can't get it off. Tried the pitman arm. Got too close to braking. This is almost useless now. So yeah, that's what we're gonna try now. And that gives us enough room to get in there and hopefully cut it out. Now, as you can see, I made this slit here. And now that might be just enough to take the pressure off the pitman arm, and the puller might work at this juncture. There we go. We got it. Finally. Like I said. Just enough pressure to relieve it. And this is our pitman arm that's cooked. So, UPS screwed me, and the parts didn't arrive until 2 days later. This is the rare parts pitman arm, greasable, much thicker than stock, and the Moog stock replacement. So we'll be throwing this in first, onto the steering box right here. So basically we're going to take the bolt out that's keeping this in place, drop it, and spin it enough to get this on there. Basically same thing but reverse. Now it's keyed in a certain direction. Duramaxes have 3 slots that are larger than others. It can only go in that one position. When you take it out, make sure you put it in the exact same slot. 1500s have 3 or 4, so good luck with that. Now we're going to take the socket and the hammer and try to hammer it up on the steering box shaft just a little bit. I wish I could bring it under there, but it's a little cramped. After you're satisfied with hammering it on a little bit, Rear Part sends you this washer. I don't know if you need it. This is so then you can space it a little bit to put the Pisc Cognito steering braces in. I don't have that, so I don't think I need to worry about this. So we'll probably end up using this, I forget what they call it. This is some kind of washer with the lock washer. And then jam it up there. They said to use some thread locker, so we'll use that too, because that was supplied. Now we grab our impact gun and our 33 and we send it. Once that's done, lift up on the gearbox and try to wiggle it and get the pitman arm into the center link. You can do it without disconnecting any of the power steering lines or the steering linkage. It's definitely possible, it just takes some finessing. Yeah, not that bad actually. Now we turn the wheel to get a good angle on that center link nut. So I'm going to put the steering box in and see where we're at. If we have to, we may have to turn this way to get the center link nut back on. Now the steering box is bolted and we're going to go under there, see where that center link bolt is at, and zip it up. If you're not feeling totally comfortable with how much this is torqued, the pitman arm nut, you can always use a pipe wrench. I was taught to do this. You know, just give it a little bit more of a crank because you can get some good leverage with this just to get it, you know, get it on there. Rock solid. Now we're going to put the sway bar back on with these 410s. Should be easy. Now what we want to do is take our old tie rod and our new tie rod, put them side by side, measure them, and get them to the same length. The ice and snow has thawed out up here in New Hampshire. It's no longer 20 degrees. So I gotta try to make sure that this doesn't get any mud in it, because this needs to be greased as soon as it's put in. So what we're gonna do is just twist this out to where it needs to go, till it's the same length as the other one. We still got quite a ways to go. Now you'll also want to make sure you put your grease fitting in here. Does not look like I was supplied with one. Oh, there it is. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. You got to be mindful of these Zerk fittings because they strip relatively easily. I thought this would be pre-installed, hence why I started screwing it on first. It's almost like they cross-thread immediately from the factory. Nope, we're lucky. That one went right in. Obviously bring that down some more with a wrench, but I'm gonna leave that there for now for sake of the video. Pretty much good to go. Now we're gonna take 2 wrenches. One here, it's a 22, or at least a 22 will grab it, and I'm gonna use a Japanese fits-all here and just snug it up so it doesn't move. A little pointless because I'm getting an alignment, but either way, better safe than sorry. Alright, good enough until I get an alignment. You may want to crank it down all the way. That is your prerogative. At this juncture, it may be nicer to move the wheel some. Give yourself a little bit more space to screw this in. This was parked on a bit of ice, so with all the ice melt, it's cambered itself in. So I'm gonna have to jack this up regardless to get this end on there. Now I couldn't even get it on there because it was hitting the wheel, so I just turned the linkage this way some so I can just screw it on. This will also most likely give me a better angle with the pipe wrench. Now we're going to take our pipe wrench and crank it towards the back of the truck to tighten it. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. You know, that whole thing. You might think it's easier to use the proper size adjustable wrench. I think the pipe wrench is easier. Plus, get your power out of it, you know, as much as you can muster down here. It's also hard to get it square on. My mistake. You're gonna want to tighten it so you go towards the front end of the truck instead. Just crank on that puppy until you can't tighten it no more. I'm going to do something most won't recommend because I'm tired of this and I need to get to the shop for a grease because I don't have a grease gun. I'm just going to tap it in. Send it to its home and you're in. Put the nut on there and torque it up. So we're going to have to use a 10. Hold the bottom of it and tighten it like this to keep the joint from spinning. Typical ball joint stuff. Normally I've been able to zip these on with a gun, but not this time. And the sun is perfectly in my eyes. So that is my tutorial on how to do a pitman arm and tie rods in 20-degree weather and in mucky weather. Hope you enjoyed it. A little loose how-to. Maybe we'll get you out of a trouble spot. So hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.